Hello, everyone. My name is Jalen, and today I have a book haul for you. So, it is November. It is my birthday month, so I purchased a couple books for that. But also, I was thinking I've been coming up dry on some booktube video ideas, and I was looking around and I was like, you know what? I've purchased some books over the last few months. Let me share them in a video, as one does as a booktuber. And I think I've showed a couple of these on my channel in other videos, but I can't remember. So, if I can't remember, that probably means you don't remember. So let's just do it. Let's treat it as a haul. Let's have some fun. But before we get into it, I wanted to share my hoodie today. It is an Eileen by Otessa Moshfegh hoodie, which was created by my friend Torin. He has his own merch site and he designs this really awesome literary fiction merch. And him and I have very similar taste on that front, which I love. He stands Moshfegh as well. But I will link that below. He also designed the Reading the Room podcast art, which is like my favorite thing ever. He helped make my dreams come true on that front. So Torin is incredible. Follow him on Instagram. Check out his store. You can get a hoodie as well. There's also like Labona totes. There's a literary gay hoodie, I believe. There's Elena Ferrante merch. He does it all. He's excellent. So he's so nice. I love him. He's the best. So anyways, oh, and I'll show it has I think I have food on my hoodie. Gross. It shows like the icicle stabbing through her heart or her breasts. Is that the line? Yeah. Fake fan. But iconic passage from Moshfegh. So that is that. I think it also comes in white too. So anyways, all right, let's get into the book haul. The first book I have is The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides. I bought this because it's this really cute little palm size. Like my hands are pretty small and it fits in the palm of my hand. Incredible. It's from Picador, Modern Classics. And they have this series of classics, as you might suggest, modern classics. Is that what I just said? That is what I just said. And I've never read The Virgin Suicides, but I have heard it recommended a couple times recently. I think I'm going to like it. It's told in like a collective we. I've never seen the movie, but I hear it's quite dark. And this is a perfect excuse to buy it. So there's The Virgin Suicides. Next up, I have Gentlemen Callers by Corinne Hoeks. This is a collection of vignettes about a woman who every night when she goes to sleep, she dreams of erotic encounters with different men. And so I love, an autofictional, vignette-y, weird, sexual little book of fiction. I think that's what this is going to be. It's translated by Caitlin O'Neill, if I did not say that already, but I love this cover as well. Very cool. Love the hot pink moment. And it's out from Dalkey Archive, which I think is an indie press. It sounds like it'll be a little humorous, scandalous little read. So that's Gentlemen Callers. Next up, I have 3 books by Annie Ernaux. She recently won the Nobel Prize in Literature, and it was last year that I read Simple Passion, which I really, really loved. And so I wanted to pick up some more of hers, and I want to collect all of her books in the Fitzcarraldo editions because they're these really beautiful, white, simple covers, and I want to have a full collection. I can't really mix. I will freak out if I have to mix editions, if I can help it. So yeah, I got The Years, A Man's Place, and Exteriors. So if you have a recommendation between these, let me know. Also, The Years was recommended to me by Alex from A Page Are You On, who recently announced that he's leaving BookTube. And I don't know what to do with this information. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to his house, record him, ask him questions about what he's reading and what he's doing in his life, and then I'm going to post it on his YouTube channel so we can still have Alex videos. That's what I decided. Just kidding. Love you, Alex, but come back to us, please. Please. We need you. That is Annie Ernaux. Next, this was sent to me by Knopf. It's Haruki Murakami's latest nonfiction book called Novelist as a Vocation. And if you know me, you know I love some literary criticism, books about craft, writers writing about how they write, how they think about books. And I feel like every question in my author interviews on my podcast are all craft-based questions. I don't know. So it sounds like it's going to be right up my alley. I've only read After Dark by Haruki Murakami, but I remember liking it. I do know that he seems to be kind of he's very popular, but a little bit controversial. I don't know, his portrayal of women in his fiction. I don't know. Curious to read this. We shall see. Next, another one sent to me by Knopf. It's Signal Fires by Danny Shapiro. I don't really know anything about this, other than that it's a family drama with secrets, a little bit of a mystery. And I think she's a quite famous author. I'm not familiar with her work, but I've read that this is her first book in 15 years. And she has a podcast. She's a memoirist as well. So if you've read Danny Shapiro, let me know. But this one, I saw 10 rave reviews of this on that critic website that I go on and talk about all the time on my channel. But yeah, I'll keep you all posted on this one. And if you've read it, let me know if you like it. Next, I purchased this 2 months ago. It's A Helping Hand by Celia Dale. I bought this on Blackwell's. I think it's only pubbed in the UK, but my understanding is it's a republished little domestic horror novel. So it says this is a tale of ruthless greed, exploitation, and suffocating, skin crawling terror. For fans of Shirley Jackson, Roald Dahl, and Muriel Spark, A Helping Hand is a sharp and nasty slice of darkness. Yeah, I saw this on Twitter. Someone recommended it as like a lost gem that's been republished. And I like this cover. I kind of like these like vintage-y horror style covers. Very fun. It was like sort of an influence for my podcast art as well. Not this cover exactly, but like the style of cover, if you can kind of see where I was going with that. Next, I've decided that I am a New Directions publishing like stan. Whenever I'm at a local bookstore and I see one of their books that seems like mildly interesting to me, I will buy it because like 90% of the time it's gonna slap. Like I love their books. But this one is The Wall by Marlene Haushofer. I recently saw that Rebecca from Rebecca Eats Books and CJ both really like this book. And I think it's a speculative fiction novel that's about a woman who is vacationing by herself and a wall like descends upon her. It's invisible. And so she's like isolated within this wall. And I guess it's a deeply like feminist book, sort of big brained. It kind of sounds like the Simpsons movie, like The Dome or like Stephen King Under the Dome, but like smart literary feminist, you know? So we'll see. Sounds good. Raves from the faves. So it should slap. Next up, I have one more New Directions book that I bought. It's The Bloater by Rosemary Tonks. The cover caught my eye. I mean, gorge. Love the green going on in here. This one is about a woman who works at the BBC as a sound engineer, and she's married and ends up cheating, or the novel is about her deciding whether to cheat on her husband with this opera singer who she is disgusted by and attracted to at the same time. I think it's going to be sort of like Disaster Woman style, a little bit more hilarity maybe, funny, a romp. Sounds good. Next up, I have another piece of translated fiction. It's Boulder by Eva Baltazar, translated by Julia Sanchez. And I saw this at my local and I picked it up and it sounded interesting. I had been interested in her other book called Permafrost, and so I saw this was newer, picked it up, and I saw it was about like a queer relationship and about motherhood and like the decision to be a parent, causing strife in this relationship. And after I posted about this, Rebecca said that this is like maybe her favorite book of the year as well. It's a slim little book. Might pick this up soon to help me with my like kind of slumpy feelings these days, but that is Boulder. Queer, motherhood, slim, translated. Fernanda Melchor blurb. Rebecca loves it. Should slap. Next is a book that I purchased that does not really seem like something I normally read, but I have my reasons. So it is called Super Infinite, The Transformations of John Donne by Catherine Rundle. John Donne, I guess, is a very like prolific poetry dude from like the 1800s, I want to say. But anyways, this is like a sort of biography of him, but I was reading a bunch of rave reviews on that critic website that I mentioned. This one seems to be very like a fun, propulsive read about John Donne. I guess he's a very interesting dude. He was a scholar of law, a sea adventurer, a priest, and he's a poet of love, sex, and death. My favorite literary topics, I must say. And so I just heard this is a really fun read, and I just wanted something a little bit different. It sounds like it might be a fun surprise for me to try like a biography of a dude, and it has a Maggie O'Farrell blurb we love. So we'll see if I like this. Hopefully I do. Next, I have The Book of Goose by Yian Li. This is an author that's been recommended to me a couple of times. I think because of my love for Sheila Heti, I've had a couple people say, like, you should check out her work. And so this one just came out, and this cover, the orange, like, stun-a-leen-na. But I don't know what it's about. Classic me. I think it's about friends, childhood friends, and war, maybe. I don't know. I hear it's kind of like philosophical. Her writing's supposedly really gorgeous. I think I'll like this. It's FSG. Tend to love their books always. So next I have Flight by Lynn Steger Strong, author of Want, which is a book that's been on my shelves and my TBR for like 2 or 3 years, which I have not read yet. Classic me, but I picked this up because I saw some recent praise for this book, and I also learned that it is a family drama set around Christmas. So I was thinking December could be the perfect time to finally try her work and read a family drama, which I love as well. And it's a pretty quick little read. Again, Rebecca said she loved Want. I remember like early Rebecca videos, her saying she thought Want was incredible. So I think I'll like this as well. The next book is a book that like one of the few books I can ever think of that was like 95% purely a cover buy. And it is I Want to Keep Smashing Myself Until I Am Whole, an Elias Canetti reader. But okay, so let's just get into the cover. Like, I saw this on Instagram and I needed it immediately. Like, I love the blobby collage style of this with the orange. So gorgeous. Love it. And I saw that this artist, I think it's either Alex Murto or Ian Woods. They're both credited for the design and art of this cover, but their Instagram kind of, this is like their style of art, and I really like it. And it made me want to buy the book. So that's successful book cover design, in my opinion. But also, Elias Canetti, he was the winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1981. And this one is edited by and with an introduction by Joshua Cohen, who wrote The Netanyahus. And I really like that book as well. So those two things together seemed like it could be a winner for me. I'm just completely unfamiliar with Elias Canetti's work, but this is like a primer, introduction, selection of his work generally. So hopefully the contents match the cover for me, but we'll see. Like stun. Okay, and then I have two more books that I purchased myself, and then I have a couple of galleys, and then we're gonna wrap the video. So these two are two books that were directly influenced by Merve Emery. She is, why are you calling me? Why are you calling me when I'm filming a video? How rude. I don't know who that was. I just hung up on them. Anyways, I have two books that were directly inspired by Merve Emery. She influenced me hard with these two. I follow her on Twitter. She's a literary critic. She is incredible. She's really funny, has great taste, and she interviews a lot of my favorite writers as well. And I really like her interview style. And yeah, she influenced me. But first up, it's Solenoid, translated by Sean Cotter. I don't know how to pronounce this author's name. I know that they're Romanian. I think it's Mircea Cartarescu, perhaps. But basically on Twitter, Merve said that she was like 30-ish pages into it, and she was like, every page of this book so far has made me gag. And you know me, I love some disgusting shit. So yeah, I want to check this out. I guess it's a sort of like auto-fictional philosophical tome of a book, which I am interested in. So it documents the author's own experience as a high school teacher and begins with the mundane details of a diarist's life and quickly spirals into a philosophical account of life, history, philosophy, and mathematics. And the disgust, I read the first page and it was really easy to read and caught my attention right away. The first sentence is, I have lice again. It doesn't surprise me anymore. It doesn't disgust me. It just itches. That's quite the intro, I must say. But yeah, I will check this out. I think this one is going to be, I sense some like international booker vibes from this. But anyways, that's Solenoid. Very curious to check that out. Sounds great. And then also Septology by John Fossa. I know the third in this trilogy, I believe, was shortlisted for the Booker, International Booker last year, or this year. I avoided it at the time, but I saw like Kieran at KD Books, he posted a lot of content about it. And I've been seeing this a little bit more because the entire Septology is now in one hardcover collection. And why I wanted to read this is because Merve on Twitter, again, she had posted about Septology generally, but then she went to, I think, the National Book Award prize ceremony. I think that's what it was for. But anyway, she had this dress on, and it was like a blue dress that was inspired by Fitzcarraldo covers, so like the blue and like white font covers. And then she had a reveal. And you know me, I love Drag Race. I love reveals. And so she like lifted like the waist of it and it said Septology in white font in the dress. And I was like, that's the next wave of influencing for me, is like fashion. Like, let's get Eileen on hoodies. Like, let's do it that way, because I'm like obsessed. But I saw that, I was like, she's a stunty queen. We stan. Like, let's go. But anyways, I then looked into Septology a little bit further, and it sounds interesting. Also deeply philosophical, kind of weird. And I've been wanting some books that are like challenging and like taking my time with some bigger, challenging books that are like outside of my comfort zone. And I think both of these sound like something that I'd be interested in and can kind of fit that mold as well. And Merve looked stunning in the dress. So that's how I'm being influenced now, is with fashion, with merch. That's that. And then finally, I have 5 galleys that I am very excited about. Okay, first up, I think I've shared this on the channel, but whatever. It's Brutes by Diz Tate. This one comes out in February from Catapult. And I saw Torin, who I mentioned previously, read this a couple months ago and really liked it. So this one says it's The Virgin Suicides meets The Florida Project. So I mentioned The Virgin Suicides previously. I guess it's told in the collective we, and it's a coming-of-age story about the crucible of girlhood. And I think like a girl goes missing or something. She captures the violence, horrors, and manic joys of girlhood. It kind of sounds like Dogs of Summer, which I read recently, which I really liked. So we'll see if that's what's going on here, but sounds fun. Shall read. Next is a book that I almost read last month for spooky season, but I didn't because I'm afraid of big books a little bit right now with my slumpy vibes. Oh no, my camera. Okay, I'm gonna hurry. Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez. This is a family drama horror, kind of sounds like Hereditary a little bit, the movie. A woman's mysterious death puts her husband and son on a collision course with her demonic family. I think this will also be on the International Booker long list at least next year. Sounds spooky, fun. I love family drama, demons, let's go. Next, I have Your Driver is Waiting by Priya Guns. This one, I guess, is like a retelling of Taxi Driver. Yeah, gender-flipped reboot of Taxi Driver. A rideshare driver is barely holding it together on the hunt for love, dignity, and financial security until she decides she's done waiting. It's giving DWM. This cover, I love this so much. Love the pink. So creative, fun. We stand. 2 books. Will I make it? Will I make it? I'm scared. Okay, so I am not waiting for my camera to charge. We're doing this on iPhone. All right. We have 2 more books. First up, Chelsea Manning, a memoir called readme.text. This was sent to me by FSG, and it sounds really interesting. So it documents her time when she was working as an intelligence analyst in Iraq for the United States Army in 2010. During that time, she disclosed more than 700,000 classified military and diplomatic records that she had smuggled out of the country on the memory card of her digital camera. And then in 2011, she was charged with 22 counts related to the unauthorized possession and distribution of classified military records. And in 2013, she was sentenced to 35 years in military prison. The day after her conviction, Manning declared her gender identity as a woman and began to transition, seeking hormones through the federal court system. In 2017, President Barack Obama commuted her sentence, and she was released from prison. Wow. Manning recounts how her pleas for increased institutional transparency and government accountability took place alongside a fight to defend her rights as a trans woman. I'm in. Sounds so good. I've been looking for a memoir to check out next, and this might be the one, so there's that. And so next I have a book that I'm really excited about. It's called I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Makkai. She wrote The Great Believers, which is a Pulitzer Prize finalist a couple years ago, and I never read that book, and I saw it's kind of maybe controversial. I don't know. If you've read it, let me know if you liked it. But this one sounds right up my alley because it has a podcaster at the core of it. So the main character, she's a podcaster and a successful film professor. And I think, to summarize this briefly, she's trying to forget her past. I guess in high school, a classmate that was tragically murdered. Basically, she gets invited back to the school to teach a 2-week course, and then she finds herself drawn into the case and the flaws with who they ended up convicting for the murder. So essentially, this is like a literary thriller mystery book. Kind of sounds like a Tana French novel or something, but it sounds really, really interesting and sort of propulsive. I've been looking for like a mystery style book too. Like I'm kind of missing some plot in my reading, and it sounds like it can kind of mix those two things together. Hopefully I can get Rebecca Makkai on the podcast as well, so we can have a meta discussion about podcasting, potentially. But yeah, I'm excited to see the hype around Rebecca Makkai, Pulitzer Prize finalist. Should be good. But yeah, that about does it. That is my book haul. Let me know if you know about any of these authors or books. Do you have any opinions on them? I'd love to know it. And let me know what you're trying to read by the end of the year. Chat to me in the comments. I'm trying to think about how many books I can finish by the end of the year, or like what I want to focus on in December, because I've been feeling a little slumpy, as I mentioned. But anyways, I will catch you all in the next one. Bye.